Welcome to the Toy Rewind Podcast with your hosts, the Brothers Newland. Now, let's talk toys.
Welcome, everybody. I am Michael.
I'm John.
And I'm Andrew. And this week, we are doing a quick rewind. We've been going back pretty far, back to the 70s, late 70s, all the way into the 80s. This week, we're doing just a quick rewind back to 1995. We were all a little bit older then. So this toy line, we had to bring on some of the most average guests that we've ever brought on. These guys are amazing. You know them as two parts of the average nerd, totally special guests. But we've got Dave and Jorge on with us. Introduce yourself, guys.
What's up, everybody? Jorge, a.k.a. Toys R Us Kid here. And that description was insanely accurate, so I loved
it. Yeah, I really like that we're just called the average nerds because that doesn't really set the bar.
It's just there. It's not like super high. Like
just average,
exactly. Just average nerds.
And I'm Dave the Dork Knight.
That's right. We have a kindred spirit there, Dave. Just the fact that the Dark Knight, Batman. I think me and you would get along super great anywhere outside of any kind of podcast or anything. So we should talk about that someday. But this week we are talking about the Ronin Warriors, this toy line that came out in 95. I think we got a little bit to say about it, Michael. This is also a weird thing is Michael's right beside me.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this and you see me, it's weird because he's like right here. It's going to be so much fun. Sorry. But before we get into that, before we get into all that, John, run us through our socials.
All right. So where to find us? Check out our website at toyrewindpodcast.com. You can email us at toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com. Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch is all Toy Rewind Pod. Facebook group and YouTube, you can research it or look us up by Toy Rewind Podcast. We stream our toy box showcases and onto YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Then check out our podcast bingo at podcastbingo.com/Toy Rewind. And then keep up because we changed this up a little bit, but we do our collector showcase with the Geek Togethers and on their channel. So, but you have to kind of keep up to when we're doing it.
You need to make sure you're following us because this is not something that we're doing on a weekly basis anymore. We are doing these. We're scheduling them out. We may have them back-to-back weeks. Who knows? Right now, I can tell you the next one is set for May 10th. That is a Monday night. So we are talking to the one, the only Av from Beehive Collectibles and the Average Nerd Podcast. I think him and Michael are going to get along real well. They are the the roots that keep these podcasts together.
Yeah,
so
the old guys.
We're going to talk about that and talking about running from being a collector to running a store and how all that works and everything like that. So definitely something you're not going to want to miss. So May 10th, put it on your calendar. Follow us so you get all the tweets, or tweets, Instagram, whatever, so you know when we're going to be doing that. So make sure you're there. It's going to be a lot of fun. But remember, May 10th. All right. So the other thing we got going on right now, we are just today, this morning, I found out who was our final two. This is actually, I should preference that this is Sunday morning or Sunday evening that we're recording this, even though it's not going to drop till Thursday. This is Sunday evening that we're recording this. And this morning we found out who our final two toy lines are in our toy bracket. Nice. So a lot of people won't be surprised. Kenner Star Wars and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles made the championship.
Yep. So there it is.
I'm upset Micro Machines didn't get in there.
I really am, but actually at the same time, I'm really glad that it's like two toy lines that are kind of the same thing. It's not like a car against an action figure, which I don't really care. Micro Machines are freaking awesome, so it wouldn't matter. But yeah, those two things, at least they're a little similar. I'm holding out for Turtles. I know Michael's probably holding out for Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
John, where are you at?
Man, I guess I'll have to go with the Turtles.
There you go.
Out of these two,
That's
just remember
that's the
more
right
of them.
answer. That's the right answer. I love the Star Wars. It's cool, but Turtles is the right answer. Sorry. And I promise in no way will I rig this. This will get posted on Monday morning. So by the time you're hearing this, we're talking about this way too much because by the time that you listeners are hearing this, it's probably already over. But thanks for voting, I guess, and making it totally awesome. We're going to be doing this again when we get probably to another 32 toy lines. So
our next 32, we'll set up another bracket. It's been fun watching what all the different ones we think somebody would win and they don't, and then the tough ones like the last one was Masters of the Universe and Star Wars, and it came down to
that was a pretty tough one.
Pretty close on those. Yeah, just
looking at these, I was kind of torn because I knew in the last one TMNT went against Lego, and I was like, oh, like those are my jam. So both of them,
and and then Turtles up against Transformers in the round before that was a tough one.
Oh,
that's
tough.
So I was pulling for Transformers on that one.
That's what happens when you have all these amazing toys and you put them up against it. Somebody has to win.
Yeah,
but
hey,
I mean, not even just that. If you look at like Lego and Parker Brothers, the board game,
Lego and Parker Brothers,
close they were.
They were. That was 11-13. Lego won that 13-11. I guess I should say. I mean, that was by far just the closest. Now I do have to say the round, the final four round, it wasn't close at all. Star Wars beat Micro Machines 21-9.
Wow.
And TMNT beat Lego 21-11. Like there was no chance for the losers on those. Yeah. So I say losers. It's a very hard term for me to say when we're talking about Legos and Micro Machines. But hey, it's a lot of fun. It's all in good aim, so we'll be doing this again and it's great. So and then when we get down to it, I think when we have like 4 champions, maybe we'll just do a final 4 of those 4 champions and see who works out. So be sure you follow, and like I said, all those accounts because we're going to be doing a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, we've got some more good lines coming down on our scheduling. So there's still some good stuff out there that we haven't talked about yet. A lot of good stuff.
All right. So now that we've gone through all the good stuff, or the meat and potatoes of this thing, let's jump in. We have our fun for all question, and in honor of having a couple of the average nerds on with us, we are doing a Mount Rushmore, which also works because we're doing a bracket that's telling us who the best ones are. But we do. The question is, what is your Mount Rushmore of toy lines? So what are the top 4 toy lines for you, and which figure out of that toy line would represent that toy line on the Mount Rushmore? So it's kind of a 2-sided question here, right? So we'll let Michael go because I know he's got his, and then John, we'll get to the average nerds here in a minute, but we'll let Michael start off.
All right,
guys get to go first.
So my 4 is 4, right? So there's 4.
There's 4.
There's 4. So I'm a diecast fan, diecast cars and stuff. So I'm gonna have to put Hot Wheels on there, and then Transformers, and Star Wars, and then the NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, are the 4 that I go up there. So Hot Wheels, there is a vehicle. It's a truck. It's from the late 70s, and it had all kinds of different variations. Sometimes it comes with a snowplow. Sometimes it comes with all different kind of things. So it's called the Bywayman is what it is, and it's got different names throughout the years, but it's the same truck. So that's what I would say would represent my Hot Wheels. Transformers, I'd say Bumblebee. I think Bumblebee would represent that better for me. I do like Optimus Prime and Grimlock. Those are my 2 favorite, but I think me personally, I think Bumblebee would represent it. Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think that would represent them very good. And then Link from Zelda, Legend of Zelda would represent NES.
So just
me.
the 8-fig link or the 8-bit link.
Yeah, the 8-bit link.
All
Yeah,
right.
we'll do that.
All right, that makes sense. All right, that's a pretty good one. I could agree with pretty much everything on there. So, John, what do you got?
Well, 2 of ours match. So NES, and then Transformers, and then I put TMNT and Micro Machines. So Link for NES, of course. I mean, yeah. I chose Optimus Prime for the Transformers.
Okay.
And then with TMNT, I'd put the face of one of the Mousers.
That's cool. It wound up
Just
too,
because
right?
that stuck out more. I was like, everybody knows the turtles and stuff, but for some reason the Mouser going around, that's what stuck out to me.
That's
and
a
then
deep cut, man.
with Micro Machines, there's always this Firebird when you look up pictures or anything, that yellow Firebird. I think Andrew has a black one or something.
No, mine's the one I have is a black Trans Am.
Yeah, or
black,
the Trans Am, yeah.
Yeah.
Firebird, but that would be the car I put up there for that one.
I could totally agree with that. I love the Mousers. That's a deep cut. That's
Mhm,
awesome. All right, so we have some agreements here. TMNT would be on mine. I would do Lego. And then here's where I had some issues. I listed 4 other ones that could possibly be on there. Yeah, because it's just a lot. So Power Rangers, I think I would put the Power Rangers on that because I loved those, the original ones that flip their heads out when they switch.
Yes.
So those would have to be on there. And then the N64. So it would have to be on there. I have a few more memories more with the N64, and that's my favorite Zelda game. So I would go there. And I would have either Donatello or Splinter. And I think I would go with Splinter because if you had Donatello on there, because you're not painting these Mount Rushmores, they're just stone. You wouldn't know which turtle it is. So I think it would have to be Splinter. I think I would go with Splinter or Shredder. Shredder would be a good one too. There, you get the bad guy in there. That's just great. For the Lego, it would be just a basic minifig head.
I thought maybe you'd have a block or something.
That's
what I was thinking.
I figure a 2x2 or a 2x4 block just looks like a mountain anyway. So maybe that's the base of the whole thing, you know.
Oh, there you go.
For the N64, it would have to be the controller. That controller was just different. So it would have to be the controller. And then for the Power Rangers, this would be another one. It's hard to tell which Ranger it is, especially with the first Rangers. They did have the dinosaurs on their masks on the opening. So it would be the Red Ranger. But you'd really have to look at it to be able to tell who it was. So I also, look, I'll get back to mine. So Jorge, we'll go to you and then over to Dave since
Sure.
make it around.
Before I start, you know, what'd be funny is if on your Mount Rushmore, if there was like some giant mechanism that could flip the head on the Power Ranger.
Oh, that would be freaking awesome. That
Right?
would be freaking awesome. Just yes.
It just the whole thing
you
flips
just
around.
made, you just made my Mount Rushmore better. 100%
Well,
better.
I think we actually match on a few of those things because I was going to go Power Rangers also, Red Ranger as well, the flippable. I was almost going to go N64 because I'm thinking about what I grew up with playing the most, but I think more than N64, I played Game Boy Color.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going with Game Boy Color, and I'm going with Red version Pokemon to represent that.
Okay. That
And
works.
then my other two, it's tough because there's other brands out there that I wanted to, or other lines that I wanted to put up there that I feel like deserve it. But I really had to stop and think what meant a lot to me as a kid and what did I grow up with. So we went Power Rangers, Game Boy, Lego as well. But I kind of like the idea of putting a brick up there. I'd put a yellow 2x4. So I would just stand it up.
Of course you would do a yellow one.
Exactly.
I mean, it has to be yellow. So, all right. See, mine would have been red.
There you go. Yeah. And for my last one, I was actually, in honor of today, I was going to put Ronin Warriors up there. I don't know if that doesn't count as Playmates, right? That's Ronin Warriors. That's the line. And then I pick one to represent.
Yeah.
I think I would go with Rowan. Rowan, which is the blue the blue one.
Archer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty sick. So that would be mine.
That'd be a pretty legit Mount Rushmore there. What do you got, Dave?
Thank you.
For my Star Wars, I kind of have an obscure character, Aura Singh. She was kind of in the background of Episode 1, but she was like a
Okay,
bounty
yeah.
hunter, and in Legends, she was a failed Jedi apprentice. So the particular figure that I would pick has a lightsaber with her. Another one would be Ninja Turtles. Have to go with Krang in his exosuit because
Great.
yeah. Yes, that
Yeah, there you
one.
go. Nice.
Yeah, because I also cosplayed as that Krang too. He's just a
yes.
hilarious character.
Yes.
For X-Men, another one would be X-Men. I chose Apocalypse just because I just love the sculpt on him. And then
That's
also,
awesome stuff.
yeah, and then the toy in the 90s, you just swap out his arms for different, like, I guess, weapons and everything.
Mhm.
So that's something I always like enjoyed about that toy. And then I was in debate with Transformers because my favorite character is Soundwave because of all the mini cassette tapes. But I went with Beast Wars because I feel like that was kind of the height of when I started getting into collecting. And for Beast Wars, I would choose Dinobot because he's like my favorite character.
I would have to say that all 5 of those are legit.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of them are just legit. I don't think anybody had any that were like, no, look, come on, that just doesn't belong.
Right.
Those were all amazing. I do want to say I had 2 that were like just in the background, like I mentioned. One of that is Motu, and I would have to put Skeletor on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And mostly I would pick Skeletor because if you put He-Man on there, he just kind of looks like another dude there. Like this part of his head, he's just another dude with long hair. But
Yeah.
Skeletor is obvious. You can tell who that was. So there was no question. And then Micro Machines, and it would be that black Trans Am I've got around here somewhere. Who knows where it is? And I do have to say, like, I was really like adamant about, like, with He-Man and with the turtle, I wanted it to be somebody you could tell who it was. You can just look at it, because I know you guys talked about this not that long ago on the Average Nerd. You were trying to figure out who was on the real Mount Rushmore.
Oh yeah.
And as I was listening to that, I could name 3 of them like off the top of my head, and I was like, wait, who's the other one? I don't even know who the 4th one is. Like, I just couldn't figure. I couldn't figure out it was Teddy Roosevelt. It totally makes sense.
Yeah,
but it just, I was like, it was not the first thing that came to my head. So I was like, I want it to be like, yes, that's who that is. That's why he went there. So I had a lot of thinking to do about that. So
great answers.
Yeah, totally great answers. Yeah. And I'm glad we went through all that. But that's not why you guys are here. You guys are here to talk about one specific toy line, and that's Ronin Warriors. I do have to say, I'm going to preface this with Jorge. You messaged me about this one a couple months ago, and said you guys would love to hear it. And it was kind of on the backlog of our list. But to me, if you got something you want to hear, let us know, because we will definitely pull those things up and do those. So if you're listening to this and you have a toy line you want to hear this history about, you want to learn something that Professor Michael over here will teach you, you just let us know, because we will be happy to do that. And then who knows, you may be guest, because that's what happened here.
Exactly.
Or I was like, well, if you want to hear it, you got to come on. And then he was like, well, you got to bring Dave on too. And I was like, I don't have a problem with this. So we're going to learn about this. I know me and John have a lot to learn about it. You guys break in whenever you hear something. But all right, Professor.
Yeah, if you hear me say anything that's wrong, y'all just correct me, because like I said, these came out in 1995, and I was graduating high school in 1995. So so these aren't really in my wheel well of knowledge. So I did, going back and doing the research on it. It's a pretty neat little line of stuff. So so this is the Ronin Warriors, also known in Japan as the Yorodian. If I said that right. Yorodian Samurai Troopers, also known as the Legendary Armor Samurai Troopers. It's a Japanese anime series which aired across Japan in 1988 through 89. The plot of the story is the demon lord of the netherworld, which is Talpa, who wants to conquer the mortal world with his 4 dark warlords. But standing against him, there's 5 Ronin warriors, each in possession of a mystical armor and weapons. These warriors are assisted by a young student teacher named Mia Koji and a mysterious warrior monk known only as the Ancient. So the Ronin Warriors, they first aired in America television during the summer of 1995. And this toy line that we're going over is also was released in 1995 by Playmates and consisted of 11 figures. Takara also put out these toys as well in 1988 to go along with those. But they were going over that. Those were actually, there's some differences. So the Takara line was made out of die cast and plastic, and they were packaged in a box. Whereas the Playmates were all plastic, and they were packaged on a blister card for here in the U.S. And they also had the head sculpts were a little different between the two as well.
I mean, that makes sense that America gets plastic. That's just what we do.
Just make it. So, but yeah, looking at the Takara ones, they look pretty cool because they're the metal die cast. So
yeah,
pretty neat. And the packaging and stuff was pretty neat in those too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now the different characters on this, like I said, there's 11 that were released. You had is it Rio, and you had Sage, Rowan, Sai, Kento, and then you had was it Hariel, which was Rio in the Infernal armor, had a different armor.
Yeah.
And then you had Talpa, Anubis, Deus, Kale, and Sekhmet. If I said that right. So correct me.
I think it's Anubis, like the Egyptian
Anubis, yeah.
god.
Anubis.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so what was neat about this line was the articulation is different than what you normally see. Because instead of ball joints or pegs were the arms and legs, they actually had springs in the joints, which work well with their action features. So you can actually pull the arm back and it slings back, or the leg kicks or whatever. So it was completely different than your normal action figures. So
it's kind of funny because it was more of a slap versus a punch or a hit.
Yeah.
It kind of just sprung back and
I was gonna say, is this a hand open slap?
Yeah, it was just. Yeah, there you go. Dave's got one, for example.
yeah,
Dave's
Yeah, see it? It's like a slap.
Boop. I didn't think it was a slap.
yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
So as for a normal articulation, the head turned, the arms could swivel all the way around, the wrist and elbow moves, and then the waist area also where you can twist. The legs was different, or not about the same as these for Playmates. The legs were similar to TMNT line, where the when you brought the leg up, it kind of went to the side, kind of like you're doing splits or something like that. Yeah. So it's exactly like the turtles do.
You got the turtles. The Motu ones do the same thing. So
yeah,
trying to get He-Man to actually ride the Battle Cat, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of go out to the side there.
Dave's playing with it as we're talking.
Yeah. Oh, I actually have a turtle that doesn't do that. So, of course, I'd pick up the one that didn't.
The ankle joints also moved as well. And they also had clips at the ankles where the other figures could actually connect to them, can like grab onto their ankle or something like that. So that was something a little bit different that they had.
Wait. So they could grab onto their ankles?
Yeah.
What's that wrestling? Forgive me for not knowing this, but what's that wrestling move where the person's upside down and you slam them on the ground?
It's like Tombstone.
Yeah, where their head essentially gets crushed in the ground. On the back of the cards, they show the two figures holding each other on one of mine. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's doing like a tombstone to one of the Ronin Warriors. It's pretty funny. Sorry, I know that the folks can't really see this. Or
Oh my gosh, he is like, yeah.
He is. He's like,
it's pulling him
Oh
back.
my
Yeah.
gosh, that is freaking amazing. Like,
That's pretty cool.
This is actually the one I wanted to show. See, he's holding him upside down. He's like pile driving him.
Oh
with
yeah.
the
he's like,
legs
oh,
like
there we
all
go.
split open.
Kind of funny looking, but you know.
Right. It's a Tombstone pile drive. Pile driver is what the name of the move, but I forgot Tombstone is what Undertaker's like.
Yeah,
particular-
when you
That's
said that, I
his-
was thinking
that's his
Undertaker.
specific pile driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, so each figure had its own armor. The figure itself had small pegs at various points on the body, which the armor connected to. So you had your torso armor, you had your belt, there were shoulder pads, there was arm armor, legs, and then feet, and you had your helmet that went over them. And then each one had their own had various weapons. I'll let you guys kind of. I didn't catch what all they had differences between them. If you guys can go over that here in a minute. One thing they had on the figures couldn't grab hold of the weapons very well on some that I've seen. They just kind of wobble when you put them in your hand.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Then each of them had their own color. There was red, there was green, there was light blue, there was blue, and then orange color. And then, like I said, the Hariel, he was white, I believe, is what color his armor was. So
Dave's just over there looking at all of his. He's like, "Yep, got that one. Got that one. Got yeah."
Are you complete, Dave? Do you have all of them?
I'm not. I'm missing Rowan actually.
Oh, that's right. You're missing Rowan. That's right.
Yeah.
okay.
Are you complete, Jorge?
No, I'm actually. That's one of the lines that I'm slowly trying to collect because it's pretty easy. It's like 11 figures. That's an easy target to hit.
Right.
But I only have 4 so far, and I'm looking
you've
for them
got
in
them.
box.
I was about to say you're getting them in box, and those things look pretty minty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got lucky. The place that I got them at was actually a local retro toy spot out here where we're at, and he had a bunch of them. So all of these 4 I picked up from his store, and I've looked online for some of the other ones, but they're kind of pricey. So I'm just hoping I come across them over time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, the last last thing I have here, Playmate toys were pretty accurate to the cartoon, except for Anubis. He was actually a different color. He was the figure was purple.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
I'm going to correct Michael again. It's Anubis.
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 That's all right.
Sorry, that's a reverse.
I was
bingo
fixing to do
square.
it, but I had to get a drink of water.
Yeah, that's a reverse bingo square. Instead of Michael correcting somebody, we're correcting him.
And I got it spelled right here. I'm just saying it wrong. Anubis is what it is. So yeah. So So his figure was purple, and then was it Deus? He was actually his figure is grayish blue color, and instead of pink, he's actually like a pink color on the cartoon.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I think that's because if you go back to like I said, I'm a big Hot Wheel collector, so. Back when the Hot Wheels came around in the late 60s, early 70s, they had pink colored Hot Wheels, but none of the boys wanted to play with a pink car.
Yeah.
So now those are really rare to find the pink ones, and they go for a lot of money now. So so thinking the boys don't want to play with the pink figures, they changed him to that grayish blue instead of having a pink costume.
Yeah.
Instead of having a bright color one, we're gonna dull them out.
But if y'all could go, if y'all know what all the weapons and stuff they have, help us out on that.
Oh yeah.
That'd be great.
I'll leave that to Dave because he's got most of them.
I guess
front
I
of
should. I guess I could. Yeah, I have good references here. So Ryo, he had like 2 swords that connect together. And it's basically the same for Hariel. I think they mentioned that Hariel, the toy, is basically Ryo, but they wanted to name it Hariel so that it wouldn't confuse kids when they're buying. Like, why are you going to buy the same toy? Same character. Cal Kento and Sai kind of have similar weapons. I think is kind of spear, like a spear almost.
Yeah.
Except Kento's he slams into the ground, and then Sai, I think he is like a 3-pronged trident almost.
I think that's
Rowan was
here,
Rowan was a bow and arrow, and then Sage was like a sword. Whereas like I'd say like Kale and Sekhmet almost have the same kind of like they're basically sword users too. But then Sekhmet, he had like 6 swords, I think it was. It's like 6.
Sekhmet,
yes.
he was kind of like a spider.
Or Sekhmet was a
Oh no, that's
snake.
Deus. Sorry, that's Deus.
Yeah, Sekhmet, he had like a move where it looked like he'd have like 6 arms. So yeah, that's why he has like 3 swords in each arm. Or wait, 6 swords, sorry. So 3 on each side. And then Deus, he had this like I don't know, they're kind of like size, and he'd shoot them out, but yeah, he's like a spider character. And then Anubis had like a scythe, and Talpa had a whole bunch of swords that were just like on his back. And yeah, I think that was all of them. Yeah,
So I love
all the
their
swords.
colors. Yeah. I love their colors because I'm just looking at. I've just got one picture up here. It's got like 5 of them on it. And I don't know, because the Power Rangers kind of had the same colors, you know, for the most part. The interesting thing is here, you've got a blue one and a light blue one. And Power Rangers didn't do that, but you know, they've got the same kind of colors as the Power Rangers, which I thought was always great, because then you've got 5 guys. They're not all just fighting in the same suit. You know, you get their colors and they get their dinosaurs or whatever, and you know, they have their powers, and it's awesome, even though they're kind of the same people. So in the cartoon, were they always dressed like in their warrior outfits?
They actually were. Well, not the full armor. You know how on the toys the armor is removable. They were dressed in the suits underneath the armor.
Yeah.
And then throughout the whole series, they didn't wear like regular clothes. They were dressed in those suits the entire time, all 39 episodes. And whenever they would, you know, they need to get a little bit stronger to fight some of the warlords, they would power up and get the entire armor.
Get their armor. See, I thought that was funny, because like in Power Rangers, even when they're not wearing their Power Rangers suits, they're wearing that color. Like,
that's true.
You know, Jason always had his red shirt on or a red flannel or something. And I always thought it was funny, because you're like, yeah, he's going to be the red guy. And obviously Trini's wearing all the yellow skirts, and so that's the yellow one. Like, that's just how it worked.
It was pretty obvious.
I just assumed that's how these guys were. But if they're just kind of wearing a lighter version of their suits here through the 39 episodes, that's pretty cool.
A side note, and I can't name the exact clans. I don't know if it was clans, but each of the Ronin Warriors, they were all designed after a specific clan of samurai. So is it Sage who has the long sword?
Yeah, he has like a long sword, and he uses like lightning or thunder, right? That's
right. So Sage, he was based on a samurai clan that actually really used longer swords in battle. So if I don't know how to find it, but if you were to look up the original clan that he's based off of, you'll notice that they use this long, really long samurai sword, and so that's why he has one.
I think if you dig deeper into, because I know for the American version they changed their names, but in the Japanese versions, they included like their basically their family name, and I think those family names link to like former, or like not former, but some Japanese warlords, like well-known ones. And I think Kento, his character or his real name linked more to like a Chinese warlord.
Oh, cool. So I looked up Sage. So it's Sage of the Hollow, and his name is Sage Date. So
so he would be, I guess, related to what's his name? Date Masamune, I think I would say. Is like a Japanese warlord.
So he's kind of
That's
black
really
and white.
impressive that you pulled that out of your back pocket, Dave.
Yes, it is.
That was pretty good.
Let me see. I got family history here. We're gonna test his See if I can
Oh,
His
wow.
samurai, his warlord knowledge.
Date
Masamune? Yeah. Yeah, I
Yes.
think so.
You got it right. Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Points for Dave.
That was
Or
pretty
nothing.
good.
He gets no. So there's no game this week. Sorry if you're listening and waiting for a game, but the guest just got a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Sweet.
You know 100% more about the toy line, and you come up with that out of your you get a point. That's it. That's
I say he gets
amazing.
the win for that one. That was pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's a win for the week. That's how it's working. I'm putting it down. Sorry, John Guest are now tied with you at 3 points. That's all right. We're all just here to beat Michael, so it doesn't matter.
That's it. Yeah.
That is awesome. Just to be able to do it. So the colors, the history. Now I want to go back and look at some of these and see some more of the history. Just the fact that it came out, because I don't know about Power Rangers, how they came up with a bunch of stuff that they have. If it was just like, hey, we want some fighters and let's pull in some dinosaurs or what they do. But the fact that there's like history built into these, that just makes them 100% cooler to me now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just pulled up a whole deal of clan names too that had samurais on them, and I was like, okay, cool. With the names y'all mentioned were on there, I was like, okay.
What else do you have, Michael? You got anything else?
No, that was pretty much all I've got on the history part of the toys there. Yeah.
All right. So as I mentioned, we didn't have these growing up. I don't know why. I mean, I guess maybe at this point I was into the Power Rangers, and that was probably my side of things as I was looking at it. But I do remember seeing the show. I didn't watch it, but I remember commercials and that kind of stuff. So I do remember that, but I never had any of these. Obviously, you guys have some. You've collected them. Dave, are those your original ones?
Yes,
Because I
they
know yours
are.
Opening, so
They're my original ones, and some of them haven't stood the test of time. Yeah,
That's
and that's mainly
sad,
because it is sad. It's just because, for those that don't know, they mix up some of the material that they use for the toys. So there's some rubber pieces, to some of them. So they tear off if you don't store them correctly, and then also since the skirt armors are rubber also. Some of them
they
rip.
probably rip pretty easily.
Yeah, they rip easily, and then also I think if you keep taking off their armor, some of the I guess the joint areas where you put them don't really.
They snap very easily.
Yeah, they snap. Yeah, so yep, they're still cool though. I still love these guys.
I think sadly too, the anime itself didn't really stand the test of time. It's a little harder to watch today than if you were to watch it originally in 1995 or even the original in 1998. It's much harder to watch now, but the toys, like you were saying, how they kind of reminded you of Power Rangers. I think that's the same reason why they stood out to me too, is the colors and the fact that you had all this armor that you could attach to it and detach. I think for 1995, that level of detail was pretty good. And I actually didn't have that many as a kid, but I always wanted more. I think I had maybe 2 max as a kid, and I never got to collect the other characters until I guess now that I'm an adult and I can do those things. But
that's the problem with being an adult and having adult money. You can do whatever you want with it.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. Obviously, look behind all of us, except for Michael, who's repping my collection tonight.
Yeah.
But, we've all seen
collection for the both of you.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. It's the same with me with Power Rangers. I think I had 2 of the Power Ranger figures and I always wanted more, but just never got it. Shout out to Mom and Dad for not buying me too many toys growing up. They would have been torn up.
Plenty. Yeah, we got plenty.
We had plenty.
Our fair share.
So awesome. So you guys have any stories just remembering these past how they held up, when you got them or anything like that you like to share with us?
Dave, do you have any?
Oh, well, I guess this is kind of more of a wish that I had, because you mentioned, what Michael mentioned, Anubis and his inaccurate color, and even like his armor is kind of inaccurate too, because in the show he had more like armor and then kind of a some robes or vestments that went over his armor. That I kind of wish that I just wish it was more accurate to the show. Because he was one of my favorite characters. I'd say like his character arc was probably the best because he started off as a villain, he got booted from the villains, and then he became a good guy, and then eventually like sacrificed himself. So yeah, I'd say
Spoiler
like,
alert.
yeah, sorry.
I'm just kidding.
From like, but yeah, like I would say he was like one of my favorite characters, and his toy they didn't do him justice.
He didn't change colors when he went to be a good guy.
Well, when he became a good guy, he didn't really use his armor anymore because he was kind of he took over the role of like an ancient one, I guess you could say, who was kind of like the mentor or leader of the war. Like I guess like a Master Splinter figure.
Because I would say it sounds a lot like Tommy from the Power Rangers. He started off a good guy, was a bad guy.
He is like
he's compared to that. Yeah, he's like a Tommy.
Okay. There you go. But see, Tommy changed it to a White Ranger, and hey, sacrificed himself, became the White Ranger.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like we got the same show going on here, just different figures.
Yeah,
it definitely felt
a
similar.
lot of similarities. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Except
actually,
they're still doing Power Rangers.
I think what they compared Ronin Warriors to was Saint Seiya.
Yeah,
is because that was the more successful anime of I guess like androgynous looking characters, guys in armor and everything. So I guess this is kind of like their version of it.
Saint Seiya came out in 1986, I believe, and since this came out in '88, you could tell that they had taken a page from Saint Seiya's book.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. So, all right, well, I think we're running around, just kind of doing some stuff. We still have to rank this. So let me pull up this screen so we can see what our rankings are. Our rankings are pretty easy right now for the three of us because we've only done three toy lines since we broke up and did our thing. So we've got the NES, the slot cars, and Rainbow Bright, which all match up. So it'll be interesting to see at what point these start to break up for us and become different. You guys think we can do all 32 exactly the same?
No. No, I think the next several we got coming up, I think we'll start showing some differences in there.
Yeah, I think once we hit our year mark, episode 52, I think that's going to change quite. I think they'll have changed quite a bit by then. Yeah. So, well, Michael, you are the oldest, so it all starts with you.
I think it's a pretty cool line. Like I said, I never had any of these, and I know them by name. Just dealing with a lot of toys and stuff throughout the years, I'd recognize the name, but I never really paid much attention to the figures themselves. And just looking up this research and stuff, they're pretty neat little figures. So especially with the spring, that's something different that I hadn't seen anybody else use. Yeah. So, but as much as I like Nintendo and slot cars, I'm gonna have to put it right below slot cars there, right above Rainbow Bright. So I'll put them in the number 3 spot.
So you're going number 3 spot right now. Yeah. All right, John.
Wow.
I'm not even gonna give a definition or explanation. It's just I'm putting it right there at the same spot.
Number 3.
That's fair.
See, this is where I think everything's going to be different at some point, but not today. Like I said, we didn't have any of these, but these are freaking awesome figures.
They're cool.
I would like to, if I was looking to get into something, I would definitely like to get some of these and check them out because they're just freaking awesome. Like you said, like Michael said, the springs, that just makes it different and it stands out. So yeah, it's going number 3 for me also. So sorry, everybody that's listening, hoping that Rainbow Bright will stay in the top 10. She will be there for maybe 12 episodes. Sorry.
She'll be in the top 10 for our wives' top 10, but not ours. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Where would you guys rank these in, your top 10 or whatever?
Ooh.
So are we going based off the list of what you guys have already ranked?
No,
or just
Just
your
whatever
top.
you guys. Yeah.
Just
you
out of
guys.
your top 10 toys. I mean, would this make your top 10 toys? It kind of sounds like it would. That's why we asked.
For me, yeah. For me, it would.
I would say so too.
Yeah. I'm going based off of nostalgia and just toys that I know I had two, but it was always like a Great White Buffalo, the one that got away. So I would rank it top 10. I'm not top 5 though. I'd say bottom 5 for me, but still top 10. Yeah.
But pretty awesome figures. I mean, for you to be going back now collecting them in box, I mean that's pretty cool. And Dave, you still got your originals. I wish I still had my original Turtles. I would love that.
Yeah,
So,
I'd say I'm the same as Jorge too. I wouldn't say that they're in my top 5 because I named like 4 of my top 10 in my Rushmore. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's just they didn't stand the test of time. Yeah, I would probably say they're like maybe 8 or 9 or something like that in my top 10.
Sounds fair.
Yeah.
that sounds
You say they didn't stand the test of time, but did you really play with those really hard?
Actually, I did. I would also take their armor off and on too.
If you played with them and played with them hard,
that's true.
They probably did stand the test of time to still be as good
that's
as they
true.
are.
Yeah, I think the only thing was just the rubber pieces.
Right.
Like since they just stayed in like a box that I have here, they kind of just snapped, got brittle or something.
I can see where, especially all the little pieces and stuff, the armor pieces, and then you got your weapons and stuff can easily be lost, and then even when you're snapping them all together, eventually they'll eventually break.
Yeah. But luckily they're coming out with new ones.
Yeah.
Nice.
That reminds me, Dave. Actually, considering that Dave did play with those, they're in great condition because the 2 that I had are pretty much bare naked. They're down to all the pieces are gone. So I mean, Dave still did a really good job of maintaining them. I still have a bunch of my old toys at my grandma's house, and recently my aunt had sent me a picture of like this box of toys of figures. They're all dusty. They haven't been touched in years, and I saw Way was rowing, and it was his body buried in the bottom. Wow. I was like, I'm pretty sure I can't find the armor on that. It's all gone by now. But it makes me curious because we did mention that there was a Japanese version of the toys, and those were die cast. So I've never seen them in person, but now I'm kind of curious to see if I can find one or get my hands on one and see what those were like quality wise, because I'm sure die cast obviously that's lasting much longer than the plastic.
Oh yeah,
they will. I'd like to see some of those as well. Just like you said, see if how well they hold up compared to the all plastic ones. I'm sure they held up a lot better. It's just trying to find some here in the States because they were all released there in Japan over there by Takara. So they're really extremely hard to find here in this area.
And Takara Tomy, they do great with their toys compared to here in the States. Was it Hasbro's the counterpart? Because even like Transformers, like Takara would do such a better job than Hasbro out here.
So all right, well, I mean, I think we've covered the Ronin Warriors pretty well. I mean, considering what this toy line is, I think that, Dave's got his original ones. Jorge, you need to find those, or get those out of the box and save them. Save the toys. That needs to be we got to start that hashtag of save the dusty toys.
Save the dusty toys. That's it.
so yeah, even if you don't want to keep them, let us know. We will help you get rid of them.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's just coming to our collection.
If
you're listening to this, if you got dusty toys, don't let them keep collecting dust. Make sure you dust those things, play with them, let somebody else something. You can make money off them.
We'll definitely pick up some from past episodes as I have behind me.
Yeah, so
nice.
looking at, obviously Michael's not behind or in front of his collection, but John's collection has grown in the last 38 weeks, 39 weeks since we've been doing this podcast. So, I'm sure Megan hates us for that, but I mean, hey, I don't care. It's John's money, it's not like he's spending my money. So, all right, with that, where are we at? Okay, so we don't have a game. I did mention that, but I do want to run over our score totals because the guest got a point today. So Michael has 4, John has 3, I have 1 point, and the guests have 3 points. So I mean, that's not too bad, John. That's 7 points that Michael hasn't gotten.
Yeah, 7.
Right.
So I mean, I guess that's pretty good. We're doing pretty good there. I'm still surprised I have a point because I don't even know how I scored.
You stumped
us on something. Yeah.
I stumped you guys on something. Like, I don't think I've ever been able to do that again. So that's why I have 1. So, all right, I have one other thing. So Jorge, you messaged me a few weeks ago and said you were working with a lady there in California with her store. Yeah. Can you give us a rundown on what you're doing? Because I don't know how many people we're going to reach, but maybe it'll help, get some stuff sold and everything. So,
yeah. So she recently, or I recently came across this store. Actually, let me take that back. I didn't recently come across this store. I've known of the store for a while, and Dave also has known of this store for a while, but we finally, made the decision like, okay, let's go check it out for the first time. It's this small tucked away store, barely, any reviews on Yelp, barely any pictures or anything. All we know is that they sell old anime products or old toys from Japan. Finally we went, and it was like the Goonies finding the treasure at the end of the movie.
Wow. Yeah.
It was seriously a treasure trove of like just a tomb of toys that have just been sitting there. And even those toys are collecting dust because not a lot of people go there, especially during the pandemic. It was closed. So she was just doing online orders at the time. But so I came across this store. I realized that she was having a little bit of trouble with her online store, with her social media. So I kind of offered, because I'm a digital marketing student. I'm in school for digital marketing, and so I offered to help her with a little bit of her marketing. And then 2 weeks after that happened, her store got broken into, and a bunch of stuff got stolen.
Oh wow!
So I've been in the process of trying to help her. Hopefully, we could track down the person who robbed the store. And then just trying to get her to see if we could sell some of the stuff that she has, because I think folks like us would appreciate, some of the things she has in our collections, and she has them for fair prices. I've tried to educate her as much as possible. I'm like, maybe some of these things we could price a little bit higher just so you can get your money's worth. But at the same time, it's not ripping off people who do want to buy it. So it's out here in the Bay Area, Emeryville, California, and she is taking appointments if anyone's out here that wants to swing by.
Yeah, if you're listening, be sure you check that out because that's awesome. On the other side of that, if you're in that area, go check out Beehive Midtown and get all your good pops. Support Av and all the average nerds, to be honest. They've
right on
that place. I want to come to California just to check that store out. So I need to go there.
I'll fly.
I need to go there, and then I want to go to North Carolina and check out Poppin' Bears, like both of them.
There you go.
Yeah. If you guys are in the area, if you guys are in the area, come let us know and we'll hang out.
Yeah.
Oh heck yeah, that would be awesome.
I said, Andrew, you could fly over there, but we'll have to leave Michael because he's going to be 5 days or 6 days behind us driving.
I'll be driving over there.
We'll be in and out before Michael ever even gets anywhere near California.
Before I get out of the state of Texas, they'll be back. Yeah.
If you're driving, that just means you can bring back a bunch of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, drive it all back.
So Av will hold anything that we buy, John, and send it all back with Michael.
Yeah.
That way it's all good.
There you go.
I'm sure Eddie would do the same thing for Poppin' Beards. So, hey, it sounds like a good road trip for all of us. Also, on top of that, so if you're listening to this, it's by the time this episode drops, it's going to be Thursday, first week in May. Michael, something is happening Sunday. Can you give us a rundown of what's going on Sunday?
What's happening Sunday?
The Dusty Attic Show.
Oh, the Dusty Attic Show. Yeah, that's going to be. I was thinking we're going to be there in June.
We're going to be there in June.
But the Dusty Attic Show is going to be Sunday. What is it? The 9th.
That's the 9th, which is Mother's Day. So
it's going to be Mother's Day. We've got some other things going on, so we can't be there on Mother's Day. But it is actually their grand opening. reopening. Last month, I was there. I set up a table, and it had a pretty good draw of people for just being a soft opening is what they had. But this month is going to be May 9th is going to be their re-grand opening. They got a new venue that they're at. That's 3 times bigger than where they were at previously. Parking's great and everything. But you get, I don't know if you've seen the videos I posted of what I've videoed throughout the show. They got everything from, most of it was, there was some die-cast stuff. That's what I was there for. But they had
pops. They
had pops. They had figures. They had like a lot of Motu stuff. They had a lot of original stuff. They had a lot of new stuff. Star Wars. They've got Star Wars galore. Anything you want, they're going to have there. I'm sure if I dug deep, there's probably some Ronin Warriors there too. So something to look out for the future. But yeah, but we will be there in June. I think all 3 of us are going to try to be there and hopefully some other people with us. So
yeah, we've got a few special guests maybe coming to join us. They're enjoying to do a kind of a reunion or a meet and greet kind of thing. So, but that'll be June. But if you're available Sunday and you're in the North Texas area and looking for something to do, go check it out.
It's in Garland.
It's in Garland. So yeah.
So it is.
We'll be posting links this week, getting ready for it. Be sure you check out them, Randy and Charlie. So yeah, the guys that run it. So be sure you're checking those out. It's pretty awesome little thing. So
like I said, this is their re-grand opening because before they were in Red Oak, which is south of Dallas. This is now northeast of Dallas is where they're at in Garland. It is, like I said, it's a bigger venue. But we hadn't had a show until last month, since last February. So it's been well over a year since they've had a show. And during this time, they wanted to find something a little bit bigger because they knew that the show it was outgrowing the Player Sport where we were at before. So, but it's like I said, Randy and Charlie, those 2 guys have done a great job putting this show on. So we just want to put a plug in on that. And they're supporting us too. So yeah.
So on top of that, Jorge and Dave, where can people find you guys? Who wants to plug it? Which one of you guys?
Dave's actually pretty good at it, if you'd like.
Oh, am I? All right. So you can find us at Average Nerd Pod on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and also we're on Twitch at the Average Nerd Podcast. And then you could listen to us anywhere you could find your podcast: Spotify, Pandora, iTunes. Yeah, pretty much anywhere.
I know I've been listening to you guys, like all your episodes, and they're freaking amazing. I love listening to you guys talk about stuff and just kind of talk about the average side of things. Like you mentioned earlier, there's no bar that's being set. It's all pretty average. So, and it makes me feel like, all right, I know what's going on.
Last night was y'all's 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
that's right.
Unfortunately, I jumped in late on the stream.
I saw you in there though, John. I saw you in there.
I did jump in as soon as I got home and was like, "Oh, they're on!" But I jumped in late. But I do have to say thank you.
Oh, murder machine!
I do have one. Thanks to y'all.
Yeah.
See, I was hoping to get one of those, but I was going to try to ask you guys to all sign it.
Ooh, we can do that. That's kind of been a growing thing lately. We've I think someone asked, and then it's kind of like everyone's like, "Oh, can you sign it?" And you know what? We're totally down. We would be honored to.
That's part of it. When you got one, I remember with the Funcast, like it became a thing where all the Funcast members were signing all the stuff that got sent out, and then so you guys are making it. You're hitting it hard there. So that's when you know you're popular. Big time. People want things to sign.
Big time in there.
So
I will say, prior to listening to you guys, I wasn't really collecting retro toys that much. My hunt to go after some of these figures was after listening to Toy Rewind. I was like, man, I got to chase down some of this nostalgia, some of my childhood favorite toys, and that's kind of where it started.
See, that's what I like about That's what I like about you guys. So Michael gives us a lot of the history. He is our. I called him Professor earlier. That's probably gonna stick now. It's kind of like Av for you guys. Like he gives you the history and or remembers some stuff like when rocks were the only thing he could play with. So I really feel bad that he's not here to defend himself at all. But it's like we've got that older person holding us down, giving us all that good stuff. And that's what those guys are there for. So
yeah,
Michael's taught us a lot about some of these toy lines that I thought I knew everything about.
Mm-hmm.
So especially like turtles, we dug into that one pretty good. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah. So all right, John. Well, I'm gonna go through this. So if you're listening to this, if you've listened to Average Nerd, you probably know all about the Nerds Unite community. But be sure you're listening to these guys. Be sure to check out Geek Together, which obviously we are in cohorts with them doing our showcase with them whenever we do it. Remember, the next one's coming up. So be sure to check that out. Average Nerd Podcast, you guys are second on my list here. The Four Dorksmen, be sure to listen to them. We had Clint on just recently. Great episode about Nintendo. It was a lot of fun. 3 Beers and a Mic. The STS guys, which are always killing it. Their Fiverr episode was great. I listened to it when I was working out. Nerdy Curious, Nerd Portraits, Movie Retakes, Totally Rad Movie Podcast, Secondary Heroes, The Figure Booth, which is the new one. Be sure to check those out. Second Opinion, and then if you're just looking for somebody to listen to, watch, and just have a lot of fun. If you need some stickers, check out Sully over on Twitch, and that's twitch.tv/CS Sully. And like always, with all of these, you'll hear us all say Nerds Unite, unless you're writing a song for STS guys and it's Nerds Unit. So lots of fun there. John, where can people find all of our good stuff?
Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch is Toy Rewind Pod. Facebook and YouTube, Toy Rewind Podcast. Check us out at our website, toyrewindpodcast.com. You can email us at toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, check out our bingo, podcast bingo at podcastbingo.com/Toy Rewind. There's a lot in there for some reason. I got tongue tied.
Yeah. And just a shameless plug for the bingo stuff. If you're looking for a fun bingo card for almost any of these podcasts, you can just go to podcastbingo.com. There's links for all the different bingo cards that I've done for all the different people. I try to keep them updated pretty frequently, so you never know what could pop in there from random episodes. So I don't get anything off of it. I just have a lot of fun doing it. So
we really appreciate it. You made a really fun one for us.
Yeah. So that's just like listening to you guys. I need about 4 episodes in, and then I can really make one. And then, like I said, after that, it just continually changes. I need to make one for the Figure Booth.
Yeah, Figure Booth needs one.
So, and I probably need to make one for Second Opinion. Check those out. It's just a lot of fun. Like I said, I don't get anything off of it. It's just a lot of fun. So do that. I should have given you guys a little heads up. See, now at this point, I need a sign off from both of you. I should have given you a heads up before John started off onto his little rant. So, if you guys could give us a sign off, then I'll sign off for us, and we'll call this episode a wrap.
Yeah.
I think I have one.
Okay.
All right.
I
Dave?
think I have one too. Yeah.
All right. We'll start with Dave, go to Jorge, then I'll wrap it up.
And it's just, I just say yes. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I'll just do something from Ronin Warriors. Douchi.
I'll do one also. Flare up now.
That's perfect. Those are great for this show.
Awesome.
All about Ronin Warriors. This has been great. So on behalf of the Brothers Newland here at Toy Rewind, as always, play on.
You've been listening to the Toy Rewind Podcast. Follow and join in the conversations at toyrewindpodcast.com.